Shanti, and a very good morning to all of you. So welcome to day 3 of this Raja Yoga meditation course. And we have Brother Prakash with us. A warm welcome to you, brother. And for those who have, if you have missed day 1 and 2, I'll be pinging the YouTube link in the chat window in some time. So you can refer to that as well. Thanks a lot once again. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Om Shanti and a very good morning to everyone. How does it feel having completed 2 days? Learning about the power of our thoughts, seeing how we can detach ourselves and observe these thoughts without getting caught in them, without questioning, analyzing, criticizing, nothing. Just watch the thoughts, see them pass by, and then choose the thought that I want. And how are we using the anchor thought that we learned on day 1? The mantra. Not just reciting it for the sake of reciting it to please somebody else. No. But a mantra is truly for strengthening your own mind. And when I repeat the sentence, as simple as I am Master Almighty Authority. I am resourceful. I am well. With meaning, understanding, and with faith. Anything the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That's what is a mantra. So that's an anchor thought that we should all have with us, so that there may be times and occasions when we are hurt, we are pushed down, we are under pressure, and we want to feel up, we want to get up, we have to pick ourselves up. Nobody's going to pick you up. Prepare before the event. Be ready before things take place. So the anchor thought. What have we been doing throughout the first day? We've just been trying to understand where is it that the power lies. And the aspect that I am the master and I can choose. And yesterday, in day 2, we realized a very big deal of the source of these thoughts. We've gone to the root. I wouldn't even say root, I'd probably go to the seed where these thoughts emerge, and that's my consciousness. I'm not so now worried about what types of thought I'm creating. I'm worried about the consciousness that I'm actually having. When I take care of the consciousness, automatically my thoughts take care of themselves. So what is a consciousness? Or in other words, what is the awareness with which I am able to be? And we are always conscious of ourselves in some fashion or another. Mostly I'm conscious about my role. We need to be conscious about who I am, truly. So my role could be that of an executive in the office, a general manager, manager, engineer, doctor. That's the role I play. Or at home, I play the role of a mother, sister, wife, father, brother. That's the role I'm playing. That's not me. I existed even before that role. I existed peacefully, lovefully, happily. And so the real consciousness is the soul conscious, not role conscious, but soul conscious. And when I can become conscious and have that smriti, the awareness, I am a spiritual being, eternal. When I say eternal, I go beyond this body. I go beyond all my roles. I go beyond every petty thing that I used to so far consider big deals. I am an eternal soul. And what's my true dharma? What's my true religion? Peace, love, purity, happiness. And higher than happiness, we saw bliss, wisdom, and power. These are my innate qualities that I come with. I have been searching for all this. So we've been looking, running, searching. But where is it all? It's all the reservoir that's within me. Of course, external factors. We got to take care of our responsibilities. I must play a very good role. I should be a great father, mother, teacher, engineer, executive. I must play those roles exceptionally well. So well that they say God should come back, look at you, the way you play a role, and just clap and say once more. So that's how we should play those roles, very nicely. And the problem is we want to play the role so well that we get stuck in the role and we become so role conscious that we then mess it up. Because then when I get stuck in anything, I hold on to anything too tight, then I start having fear, anger, ego comes in, greed sweeps in, all these things happen. And that's why we have to hold those low roles loosely, play them exceptionally well. Always be conscious that I am a peaceful person, role. I'm a peaceful soul playing the role of a father, mother, teacher, friend. So we have to have the right approach. As we learn meditation and Raj Yoga, we are becoming masters. We are going to be on the driver's seat hereafter. I've just shifted where I used to be before to where I am right now. Earlier, I used to be driven by circumstances, by what people would say, what people are going to think. And that would be how I would drive myself. And so there's always anxiety, tension, fear. But when I learned Raj Yoga, I've just now suddenly taken over the seat of the driver now and say, okay, I'm going to decide how to play the role. What should be my internal environment while I'm playing the role? So you're going to play the role still. You're still going to go there and do that wonderful job that you did before. But earlier you had a lot of stress and pressure built on what will people say, how will people look at me, and I hope I'm doing well, all those things, because you didn't know who you truly were. And that was the only source of your peace. That was the only source of your happiness. So if I did a great job, I'm peaceful. If I get a fantastic job, I'm happy. But now, no. You start with, I am peaceful. I am happy. And with that energy, now you go and do that wonderful job. And so that quality of that job that you did earlier versus how you do it now will be much better now, because you're already going with wonderful energy. Earlier, you go with the emptiness, believing that that's where I'll get it from. And so that's why there was a lot of fear, anxiety. You see, whenever I go with emptiness into any space and I believe that I'll receive everything from there, then I'm going with a lot of fear. So what's Raj Yoga doing to me? Raj Yoga makes me the master. And it sends me into these roles with confidence, with power, calm and collected. Because you know, nothing is the end of life. You know you're eternal. You know you're here to play this fantastic role, and I'm going to give it my 100%, and I'm going to do the best that I can possibly do. But then I'm not responsible for the fruits. I cannot control how others are going to respond. I can only control my own environment inside. I have 100% choices there. And so that's what we've been learning all this while. And that's really supported me in bringing me up. How? So I'm just going to try and help you understand today what was the process that we've gone through. And the same process, if we apply in any aspect of life, we will find victory and success. And so many of you had mentioned that you want to know how to free your mind from distraction, how to concentrate better. And so over the last 2 days, whether you realize it or not, you have been helping yourself concentrate more. What is yoga? Yoga is concentration, right? Right now, we are all sitting on the other side, right? You're sitting over there. Are you in yoga? 100% you're in yoga. Are you in yoga with me? Well, that depends. If you're fully focused and if you're actually able to listen and understand what I'm saying, then you're in yoga with me. But you may be sitting there, but your mind is thinking about what you're going to make for breakfast or what you're going to eat for breakfast or what's going to happen after this. All those things, if you're in your mind is happening there, then you're not in yoga with me, but in yoga with food, or you're in yoga with some other activity. We are always in yoga, which means we can always connect. We are good at focusing. The question is, are you focusing on the right aspect? So what we are learning is to try and keep the mind in the direction that we want to. If you're sitting in front of this place on your Zoom right now, the best place for you to be is in yoga with me, because then you will learn and you will benefit. And so we are learning how I can change the direction of the mind. Silence helps. A moment of silence, I immediately look at myself. I see all the thoughts coming. I don't do anything, I just let it go. And then I say, okay, this is where I have to be. Don't judge those thoughts. There's something very important that's constantly reminding you of something, put a note. Okay, this thought is coming to me. Let me put a note. Maybe it's a very important thought. I should not forget it. Because sometimes a lot of beautiful thoughts and things that you've forgotten, all of a sudden you remember when you're sitting in meditation. Why does it happen? Why does that happen? Because when you're in meditation, you're able to stay in a space of silence, and there's a lot of solitude, and therefore there's no much of noise, right? Or noise of negativity, where all that stops. And when you're not thinking of yesterday and tomorrow, and you're just thinking about being in the present, and the mind is very calm, that's when there are certain things that come to the surface. It was coming to the surface earlier, but because of so much of noise, I never paid attention to it. So now suddenly, okay, I have to do this. Okay, just write that down. It's finished now. Let the thought go. And now I focus in the session. People in front of me. So today, we're going to understand the role of the intellect. A very important role, and that's the self. So yesterday we saw I am a soul. I am a spiritual being. I am eternal. I am peaceful. All these aspects we've got to have faith in. We have to realize it. We have to have the intellect must understand these very clearly. Your intellect is called the buddhi. So buddhi's work to see something. It could be an idea, it could be an item, And then to say, is this real or is this false? It's able to discern between truth and false, correct, incorrect, right and wrong. And so when we offer this idea that I am the soul that is eternal, I am not the body that is temporary. I am using the body for some time. Now that is an idea that has to be rightly understood by the intellect, and the intellect must be able to discern that, yes, I am the soul. That's a very important first step in meditation. The intellect must awaken. That's why they say a lot of enlightenment in the world is about awakening of the intellect. How can we have a better world to live in? Better resources, more technology, more wealth. How can I make the world a better place? All those things will help. All those things will support in probably connecting us better and quicker and faster. But what is really going to support any transformation is the awakening of the intellect. Once the buddhi awakens and understands, I'm a soul, you're a soul, I am peaceful, you're peaceful, and we are connected in that sense. That's how real transformation will take place in the world. That's how true peace can spread. There is no other way. That is why the intellect is the buddhi, and when it's enlightened, when you have an enlightened intellect, you are the Buddha. Buddha means the enlightened one. So any one of us, if we start having an intellect that opens up to this understanding and the idea that we are all souls, eternal beings, not bodies, and we stop comparing ourselves and contrasting ourselves and fighting between ourselves because of the bodies and bodily relationships and religions. When we stop doing that, we are all enlightened. That is Buddha. But if I'm still not able to see that, and if I'm constantly getting caught in the body, and I'm only looking at bodily relationships and bodily possessions and positions and religions, instead of being a Buddha, I'm a Buddhu. Buddhu means dull intellect. The intellect is not opening. It's not awakening. So I was a Buddhu at one point in time. I did not understand. And I've been constantly reminded, I am a soul, I'm eternal. Where is the fear? Look at everybody as souls, all are eternal beings. I'm peaceful. So what am I chasing after? I need to take care of my responsibilities, but know that this is not for peace. Peace is already there with me. And so then I become a Buddha. My intellect is opening up. So a large part of what we are learning is strengthening and awakening the intellect, the buddhi. That's what is happening through the Raj Yoga meditation course. There's a lot of clarity that's coming to us. And we are learning all these things with a lot of logic, because the intellect requires logic. The intellect says, but how is it possible? Tell me why. Tell me how. Tell me when. Tell me what. Tell me which. All those questions the intellect is constantly checking. Only then it will get convinced. And so as you're listening to this, whatever we are speaking and listening and learning, you must intellectualize and ask yourself these questions. If you have any clarity, you must ask. And I'll be very happy to suggest answers. And I'm trying to cover most of those questions in the program. But if it's not covered, you should ask, because only then you will start believing and understanding. And when you start understanding and believing, only after that would you start experiencing. And once you experience, then transformation has taken place. Nobody can snatch that away from you. The moment you experience, just by sitting down and I am peaceful, and you experience that peace, finished. Then nobody else can take it away. And then in 1 second, you just get to that space back again. The most toughest situations outside, and you can experience peace inside. Because you've experienced it once, voluntarily. And therefore it's easy. That's about the intellect. That's one very important function of the soul, or we can call it the faculty of the soul. The other one is the mind. Of all the arts, or the highest art of all arts in the world, the highest art is the art to be able to guide the mind. The art to be able to guide the mind is the highest art you can ever learn in the world. And it's a very beautiful art. It's a nice art. It's a simple art. That's exactly what we're learning today. The art to guide the mind. So what the mind does is, whatever you're looking at, I'm looking at the windowsill, I'm looking outside, some sunlight, I'm looking here, I'm looking there, and my ears are also open. I'm listening to a lot of sounds coming. So while I'm listening to what I'm saying, I'm also listening to certain birds chirping outside. And the mouth is also tasting something or the other. Sometimes I become thirsty, sometimes I need water. And so is the nose as well, smelling. And my hands are constantly in some way touching some things. And I'm feeling with the skin. And so what's happening is my senses are constantly receiving information. And the mind is, wherever this information is, the mind is constantly going in those directions. It's trying to find out, okay, so what does the eye see? What am I looking? Okay, what am I listening to? What am I tasting? What am I feeling? The mind is going in all these directions. But the beauty is that we have the power to keep the mind in one direction. And so if you're listening to me really in a very concentrated fashion, the mind is with me, then you don't even realize what the temperature is. You don't realize whether your feet are feeling cold or not. You don't realize whether there's something burning. Yeah, many times it happens, right? You are lost in thought, they say. You're so lost in thought that you didn't even realize that something was burning. Suddenly, when your mind comes back, or if the smell becomes very strong, that's when you get it. Yeah, so the mind has a function of being able to go to all the places that my senses are in. And that's important. That has a reason, so that I'm completely aware of what's happening around me. But we have to also know that the mind has this ability to go off into the past and can stay there for as long as it wants. Or it can go off into the future and stay there for as long as it wants, and it can get lost in these areas. And then I lose the present moment. I lose experiencing true peace right now. I lose the experience of enjoying the moment with people around and being happy. I can also lose this experience of being a powerful being, because my anchor thoughts work with me in the present. So what should I do? I must learn to guide my mind in the direction that I want it to go to, because otherwise it'll go in the direction that it feels, wherever it feels. There's this strong smell, let me go there. There's this wonderful sight, let me go to that place. There's this fantastic sound that I'm listening to, I want to go there. So the mind then is going on in directions which you don't want it to go to, because there's always something happening around that can distract the mind. So here's how we can actually guide the mind. Firstly, the intellect must be convinced about what is right and wrong. Intellect is like the parent, right? So if the mind is always distracted, always going left, right, center, not able to actually focus and concentrate, it's like the child. The child is very naughty. The child is doing things always, messing things up. You normally would turn to the parent and say, what have you taught this child? What have you taught this child? Usually you ask the parent, because you expect the parent to have disciplined the child to a large extent. Because if you're always in bad company, you allow the child to get into bad company, the child automatically picks up the company that it keeps. So the child, it's not necessarily the child's fault. The parent was not checking the companionship of the child. And so it's important to see what company is my child keeping. If the mind is always keeping company of falsehood, keeping company of things which are not good, then obviously the mind keeps getting to go to that place time and again. The intellect has not been working all this while. And it's not our fault. Our intellect has been asleep for many, many, many times. So now is your awakening. What is your awakening? I am soul. I am peaceful. You see, the awakening is very important. Earlier, I used to say, I will be peaceful if so and so changes. My husband, my child, my in-law, my friend, or even my business. If that becomes okay, I'm peaceful. That was the wrong way to look at it. It was conditional. And so one moment my child is okay, I feel peaceful. Next moment my spouse is not okay, peaceless again. Then spouse becomes okay, in-law is not okay, again peaceless. In-law is okay, child is okay, this is okay. Suddenly business is not okay, again I become peaceless. So what's happening then? I'm constantly depending on things. So that's not the right way of thinking. That's incorrect. So intellect should understand that. Intellect must understand. Once the intellect understands, I am peaceful, period, understands it with absolute logic, and it believes in it, then what happens is it's able to guide the mind. The mind is like a child. And so the mind really will go to the places that you really wanted to go. So when you give it this clear, firm thought, I am peaceful, and then you're instantly able to have the mind along with you experiencing that peace. But if you're not sure, then the mind will keep jumping here, left, right, and center. So it's very important. The intellect just awakens and immediately it's able to also have the mind with it. But the intellect is asleep, the mind goes into all different directions. So you have to step up. I'm the master, the soul, and I am peaceful. Immediately the mind is all in order now. So simple. You want to take care of the mind, just awaken yourself, take the seat as a position, like the parent would take the position. And then the child is saying, okay, parent says this, let me just do that. But if the parent is asleep, parent is not looking at the child goes and does all those funny things. So your parent, you, the intellect, the understanding, is able to clearly distinguish the body from the soul. If you're in body consciousness, you're asleep. Become soul conscious, you are awake. And then your mind is with you, you're able to focus, you're able to concentrate. There's a third aspect, which is called the sanskar. So you have the mind, you have the intellect, and then you have a sanskar. Not a sanskar, it's the sanskars that we all have. What are sanskars? Sanskars are those personality traits that distinguishes you from anybody else. We are all unique because of the way our sanskars are built. They are our habits, they are our belief systems, they are some of the impressions that we have created inside, which are very, very unique in ways of doing things, in the way we speak, in the way we respond to situations. All those have become our sanskars. For example, I might have a sanskar of being a person who's very merciful. I'm very merciful. And I'm able to easily forgive people because of the mercy I have. I look at somebody, they did something wrong. I say, okay, forgive this person because he doesn't know what he or she is doing. That's my sanskar of forgiving somebody, sanskar of being merciful. If I see somebody who's having something less in their lives, I want to go and give it to them. That's my sanskar. And sometimes I have a very harsh sanskar of being very sensitive. And the moment somebody says anything, I have the sanskar of picking it up, keeping it in my heart forever. And who suffers really? Not that person. I'm suffering so much. All I have to do is just invoke this sanskar of mercy for myself, mercy for that person. cleanse myself, clean it up. But my sanskar does not let me do it. My sanskar wants to keep holding it. The sanskar wants to take revenge. The sanskar wants to say, okay, I will keep this in my heart till I don't actually do it to you. So they are sanskars. One person has a sanskar of forgiving, one person has a sanskar of holding. Now, where the sanskars come from? Are they inborn qualities? Somebody asks. Yes. There are sanskars that, many sanskars, see, we are eternal souls, right? As you said, if I'm an eternal soul, then it's not just this one birth that here I am, and I create all my sanskars in this one birth. But there's a possibility, and a big possibility, that my sanskars come from my previous births. That's why you see twins in one house, same parents. And as they grow up, within the first 2 years, you'll see so different sanskars. One is always joyful and smiling, the other one's always cribbing and crying. But they had the same environment. So what happened? Sanskars that they picked up, perhaps from the previous birth, perhaps from previous, before that. So you bring sanskars into the family that you were born in, firstly. We also then prepare our sanskars from the way we are being brought up. So the soul has come into this particular family now, and this family has a very important ritual of waking up in the morning at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And so you see this particular child, then slowly they pick up the sanskar of an early rising, an early morning, and then they wake up in the morning, they do some very interesting activities first thing. And so they pick the sanskars up from the family they were born in. So you come into that particular house, and based on what the environment is in that particular place, you pick those sanskars from there. And then you go to school, you learn a lot from your teachers. You pick up sanskars from teachers. You look at them as role models. And so whatever the teacher is doing, you also learn. And then your friends, you have some very close friends. And seeing what they do, you also start picking up those sanskars of the friends. Yeah, that's why they say, take care of the company you keep. Whether you like it or not, you pick those sanskars up. And so then once you do that, then as you grow up and become older, you probably look at certain colleagues, your office, the company you work for 10, 20 years, you start picking up sanskars from there. And the good news is you have something called the will to do things, the willpower. And you can choose the sanskars you want to build also through your own will. And so I picked up the sanskar of being very sensitive. But now I know that I can choose a sanskar of courage and strength so that I don't get affected by anything. You have the sanskar of getting angry because you notice, you've seen, you learned people in your family, in your house, or you've seen some, wonderful young angry men movies of Hollywood and Bollywood. And so you've learned to get angry and say, okay, wow, that really has a lot of effect. So let me take that up and use it in my workspace. Let me use it in my house. And so I start using those sanskars that I've learned from others. I picked that up and that became my sanskar now. And now I want to free myself from anger. It's very difficult. I've become very jealous of somebody. And I picked that up from somebody. These are all acquired sanskars. So you have two types of sanskars. One is acquired. You acquire some of these sanskars. And some sanskars are innate sanskars. Innate means they are inborn, a part of the soul. You've not picked it up from the environment. And so right now, a lot of what is operating is what I've acquired from outside. Anger, greed, jealousy, ego. I've learned all these things from the external environment. But that's not who I am. Who am I really? I'm pure. When you're pure, it means that you are free from all these negative sanskars that you picked up. Original nature of the soul. So when will that happen? So where did we originally exist? We existed in a place called Param Dham. Param Dham is a soul world. So we have this earth. This is the corporeal world. We say corporeal world. So like this corporeal world, which is all about this body, we have an incorporeal world where we don't have a body. Just the souls existing in that place. That's called Param Dham, the highest space, the highest abode. Dham is abode. Param is most highest. It's also called Shanti Dham, Nirvan Dham, the land of silence and peace. So that's where we all exist. And so what is my sanskar? Sanskar is of peace. I have the deep sanskar of peace inside me. That's the original nature of the soul. All those 7 qualities that we spoke about. those are innate qualities, but also those are my sanskars. And my sanskars of giving, that's what the soul comes with, the sanskar of giving, the sanskar of sharing, the sanskar of cooperating, of helping others. That's our true nature, innate nature, because it comes from love, which is my original nature. So from love, there is caring, there's giving, there's sharing. Original nature, and this is a beautiful one. You should always remember this. Your original nature is the nature of strength and power. Nobody is weak. Originally, nobody is weak. Nobody is feeble. Nobody is scared of anything. Originally, as a soul, when you look at yourself in Paramdham, and it's just the time you came down to this earth, there was zero fear. It was absolute courage and confidence. And you just could be who you were without worrying about anyone judging you. That's who you originally are. And that sanskar is still there. However, we have acquired a lot of other things from the world outside. And we are starting to protect ourselves, which is the shell, which is my body. And so then I'm starting to have fear and insecurities and all that things come up. As soon as I shed this body consciousness, and I say, I am soul, you emerge the sanskar of your souls immediately. Why do we have to keep learning this lesson of soul time and again? Today is the third day of the course, and we're still at the lesson of the soul. Why? Because that is the true magical enlightenment of everything. I am not the body, I am the soul. Because then they're emerging the sanskars of the soul. You emerge the sanskars of peace and power immediately. I have no fear when I'm the soul. Why do I have fear of the soul? Soul, tiny being of light, which is eternal, which is a sparkling star. There's nothing to fear, nothing to be greedy about, nothing to get angry about. Because you're also soul, tiny, sparkling point of light who's peaceful and powerful. So how can I get how can I get angry with you? I can get angry with some things you did, and I can also hold you responsible and accountable and say, this is not right. And that's perfectly okay. You can always do that. But I'm not angry with you as a person, as a being. Because you're a peaceful, loving, pure light. How can you be angry with somebody like that? So, soul, when I become conscious, then my sanskars also emerge of soul. All right, so you have the sanskars. It's very important. What are we trying to do through meditation is we are emerging our original sanskars of the soul. That's what Raj Yoga meditation is doing for you. And I say, Om Shanti. Om, I am. Soul. Shanti is peace. You're just reminding yourself of your original nature, original sanskar of the soul. Okay, so now let's do a small demonstration. We did that yesterday, but today I'll show you how it really works. We can concentrate, we are free from distractions, all those beautiful things, all right? So you're with me. I hope all of you are with me. So take a few breaths in and out deeply. Your eyes are open, interestingly. If you want to keep them closed, you can keep them closed. It's good to practice these with open eyes so that you are challenging the fact that the mind, although is looking at all these things around you, your ears are open, your eyes are open, sensing the temperature of the room, but still you're focusing on what is happening in front of you. And it's good to start that way so that what happens is when you become a good meditator, you can keep your eyes open. You're talking to people. You're in your kitchen doing something. You're in your office, in a meeting, and you can still stay calm, composed, and powerful. Because all you're doing is you're emerging your original sanskars in meditation, nothing else. You're not trying to be something you are not. You're not just trying to relax, but you're being who you originally are. And so you don't have to close your eyes to be who you are. Why? Can I not be myself when I keep my eyes open? Can I not be conscious that I'm not the body with my eyes open? Can I not be conscious that I am a soul that's an eternal being with my eyes open? Can I not feel that I am seated over here in the center of my forehead, just behind my eyes, and I am the master. Can I not experience that while my eyes are open? Yes, I can. In fact, our concentration is far higher with eyes open than with eyes closed. When your eyes are closed, then you have so many things. There's darkness and blankness, and that might go anywhere. When your eyes are open, you're more concentrated. People who study, who learn, you don't close your eyes and learn. They learn with their eyes open, full focus, mind and intellect together. Intellect clearly says to the mind, see how the mind works. Intellect says, this is important study for me. I love what I'm learning. I have exams coming up and I must excel. I must get, I must get a distinction. What are you doing? You're actually instructing the mind. Intellect is clear what it wants. Intellect is convinced. It must excel. And in the moment it studies, full focus. So it's the intellect that has to say, meditation, absolutely critical. Because this is the way I can be peaceful and powerful, and I can go and do my job, and I can do it in a much better fashion, and my quality of life will be much better. So I must emerge my original qualities. It's important for me. Intellect should understand. Intellect should clearly have that distinction. If the intellect says, what, yeah, no problem, whatever is there, no problem, I don't mind whatever is coming to the mind, it doesn't matter, right? What is the mind? Never matter. What is the matter? Doesn't mind. Whatever, we are not very clear about what we want and how we want to feel, then we feel everything. So intellect should be clear. I know who I am, and I'm going to emerge all my original qualities. All right. So clearly give yourself that direction right now. I have now understood the distinction between body and soul. I've understood that I am the soul. All those things that I used to struggle before was only because I was stuck in body consciousness. No more. Right now, I'm going to make that switch. And I'm going to start experiencing myself as a soul. Behind my eyes, the center of my forehead, I am a tiny, sparkling light like a star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star in the center of my forehead. And I feel it. And I'm the one who's seeing through the eyes. I'm the one who's listening through the ears. I am that soul who's speaking through the mouth. I am peaceful. I am loveful. I am happy. So when you are saying I am happy, I want you to think about, what does happiness mean to you? Just think of the meaning of happiness. Think of a picture, an image, whatever can come to your mind when you think of happiness. It could be a nice scene from nature that makes you happy usually. Forest, the sea, the ocean, the beach, the rains, the sun. It could be sunflower, it could be something from nature. What is it that brings you joy instantly? Bring that picture to your mind. And then the feeling of happiness. How does it feel when you're happy? How does it feel when you look at those sunflowers? When you remember, what does happiness mean really? Immerse it within yourself. And so feel happy right now. Experience happiness. Your mind is able to do this. You have all you need. So we did three things. One, I created a meaning. What is the meaning of happiness? You're then triggering your intellect. The intellect is speaking about the meaning. What is the meaning of happiness? Once it gets to understand that this is what happiness is, you're also saying to yourself, I am happy, very clearly. And so what is the mind doing? The mind is creating the picture of happiness and is thinking about what is the feeling of happiness, and is able to bring all that together. And what happens is instantly you then start experiencing and feeling happy. So the three things need to work together. M, I, S. It's like a management information system of the soul. And when you can bring these things together, then you are the Raja, the master. The mind, the intellect, the sanskar, MIS. Starting with the intellect. Intellect is a very important aspect of the of how you want to guide the mind. So the intellect is clear. I am happy. When it says that, the intellect is saying it with absolute clarity. It knows the meaning of happiness. I am happy. I am in the present moment. Happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. Happiness is what I feel right now. And happiness is my birthright. Happiness is not about being very excited about things that I got. It's just being who I am and to be cheerful, to be warm, to be calm and collected and to be content. That's happiness. And I am. And so when you have that intellect, having that clarity, instantly the mind is able to come with you. It's able to help you see what it means for you. And it's able to also actually make you feel that way. When you do those two things, what has happened to your sanskar? My early sanskar used to be, I will be happy when I get the promotion. I will be happy when somebody comes and appreciates me and says, Prakash, you did a very good job, keep it up. So that's what the sanskar was used to. I will never feel happy unless these things happen. Only when my boss comes and gives me that wonderful appreciation and praise in front of 100 people, I'm happy. Only when my Facebook gets so many likes, I'm happy. So you have programmed yourself to be happy only if that happens. So now the intellect says, I am happy with clarity and with absolute conviction. No two ways about it. Then mind also makes you experience it and feel it. And then your sanskars change. So every time you're doing meditation and you're experiencing your true self, you are once again changing your sanskars from how it has become used to things right now with body consciousness. You're once again re-emerging the old sanskars. And if you constantly do this, the old sanskars are your original sanskars I'm talking about. And as you constantly do this, your original sanskars become a part of your life. And the sanskars of the body move away. And you know what you'll become? You will become the Buddha. And not only a Buddha, but you'll also be somebody who's a deity, a devta. So what is the sanskars of a devta? We go and worship the deities in temples. Why? What's so special about the deities in the temple? Nothing. It's their sanskars. Their divine sanskars. They're always cheerful. They're always giving with their hands, right? Their hands are open. They're never taking. That's why they're deities. Devta means dena, to give. That's a sanskar. Now, when I become soul conscious and I know I am happy, I am peaceful, then I'm supposed to give it, right? I mean, I'm full of that. So what will I do? I'll give happiness to everybody and I'll be happy. I'll give peace to everybody. I'll give strength and power to all. So then when I actually start doing Raj Yoga, I'm also creating another aspect of me, which is this image of a giver, a donor. I become a data, I become a devta. Otherwise, I'll always be a levta. You know, everywhere I go, I'm hungry for appreciation. Everywhere I go, I'm hungry for this. I'm hungry for that. I want this. How come you never told this to me? How come you didn't give me this? Even if it's not a physical thing that you need, but energetically, you want things from people. And then you're filling yourself with that. And so then you lose this thing that I am happy. You don't become soul conscious. You then still role conscious, and you are conscious about what people have to give you. Devta, deity, and you start emerging all your original nature and qualities of the soul. So you're there to give. Okay, with that, we'll open ourselves up for any Q&As, questions and answers, please. You have on the mind, intellect, and sanskar. This is what you are, the soul, MIS. That's what you're made up of. Important to keep the intellect awakened always about who am I, and to also see everybody as a soul. So we're going to do that final meditation of looking at each other as a soul. Jaisi Drishti, Jaisi Srishti. So when I hold my smriti of the soul, I'm going to have a vision of the soul, and my world is going to be peaceful, happy, powerful. And so we're going to practice that. And I hope you all are ready. As mentioned to you yesterday, we have to be ready to turn our cameras on so we can actually start giving and receiving that elevated vision for each other. Question we have. How to contemplate the innate nature of different creatures? Well, are you talking about creatures as in outside the human species? The subject of our study is restricted to the human species. So we are only going to contemplate and concentrate on the human species, not any other creatures. We only have mercy, and look at other creatures as well, with love. And that's the best we can do. The whole focus is to focus on my innate qualities, because so far that's itself different and new for us. We don't want to open different doors that is going to be more and more complicating our own selves. We've opened this huge door to our own innate qualities. Let's concentrate and focus there. When I have my innate qualities emerged, lo and behold, nature around us, including other creatures, would start vibrating and resonating with those same qualities. That's why they say there was a time in the world which we call Satyu, which actually we'll see soon in our cycle of time. Satyu. That was a period of time when everything was true. And when nature, all creatures were peaceful and loving, and they lived in harmony. So just focus on your own innate qualities, emerge that and see how it affects everybody else. Okay, how to remain in a state of bliss throughout the day. It depends on how much you're able to stay aware of who you are, right? Throughout the day is a huge challenge. It's very, very difficult to do. It's something that is a good goal and aim to keep. Start smaller. Start saying, okay, I like to feel blissful at least for a few hours through the day today. And so then you create thoughts of who you are, constantly do the SOS. Don't get caught in all the thoughts that come. Check yourself that you're not in the future too much, in the past. Stay in the present. So you constantly do that. The checking is what will help you. You're alert and you're active through the day, and you're doing it once every half an hour. You keep doing this practice so that you know that when you do that practice, at least for a few moments, maybe 1 minute, maybe 5 minutes, you linger on with that same experience of bliss and happiness. And so you keep doing that, and then start expanding and extending the time frame. So start small steps, and then you go to the bigger ones. How to be free from anxiety and stress? The biggest way to free yourself from anxiety and stress is try not to control things outside you. Remember, you cannot control anybody outside of you, which is your own self is in control. You cannot control situations out of you. When you start realizing that I'm not in the ability to control them, but I need to accept them as they are, major part of your stress is finished. Major part of your stress. Because why am I always getting stressed and anxious about something? Because I want to control, I want to change things. But it's not in your hands. Okay, so what's in my hands? Your hands is your own self. So focus inside and see what I can change here. What can I control here inside? I can control how I feel right now. I am peaceful. So make your focus here. So when you shift focus from what is not in your control to what is in your control, you majorly are able to manage stress and anxiety. Do the animal kingdom have karma? Like I said, we are not focusing so much on the animal kingdom. We are focusing more on well, when they say kingdom, it's a huge kingdom, right? We're speaking about the human species within the kingdom. That's where our whole focus is. So that's where we are. So we are not so much engaged in the study of animals and how do they really operate, where do they come from, where will they go, what is the soul, like. No, we don't go into those depths of those aspects. But we know so much that when I change, I as a human being, being one of the highest in the animal kingdom in terms of the intellectual capacity, when I start becoming more divine, it affects the divinity of everybody, and they also start becoming like me. Okay. So I'd like you to, before you turn your cameras on, very important practice, and then we'll turn cameras on, because it's a very, very crucial practice. It's a very interesting practice. So what you do is take a few deep breaths in and out. Okay, now create this thought that behind this body, this physical state, the role that I play of a father, mother, the gender that I have of a male or female, behind all of this, I am a soul that is peaceful. And I want you to feel that soul that you are inside. And that you are the soul looking through your eyes. So your eyes are open, and you're able to see that I'm the soul looking through my eyes. And I am peaceful. Now, can I request all of you to turn your cameras on, please? Just as you're looking at me, I'd like you to start looking at everybody, each other. So start by looking at me. Start by looking at me as a soul that is peaceful. So you first feel I am peaceful. And then you're looking at me, you're looking at the center of my forehead. Yeah, that's where you would notice. You're looking at the center of my forehead. And you're looking at this person. You're not looking at me as my name, nothing. You're just looking at me as a soul who is peaceful. You're looking at me as a soul who is peaceful. And now, just the same way as you looked at me as being peaceful, look at everyone else around at the center of their forehead. Just look at the center of their forehead, that I'm looking at a soul who is peaceful. There's no other thought that you need to try and bring to your mind, nothing else. I am seeing a soul who is peaceful. Now I want you to add to that. I'm looking at a soul who is happy. I am happy. I'm looking at the soul who is happy. I am powerful, and I'm looking at the soul in front of me who is powerful. You're changing your vision now. Earlier, your vision used to be body conscious. Whenever I look at somebody's picture, I would be body conscious, but now I'm soul conscious. It's a very important practice. So do it with a lot of sincerity. I am seeing the soul in the center of the forehead, and I'm seeing a being of power. You're emerging your samskars of the donor. You're giving, you're not taking any energy from anybody, but you're only giving the energy that you're filled with. I am pure, and I'm Looking at the soul in front of you who is pure. I am loveful, caring, compassionate. And I'm looking at the soul in front of me who's loving, caring, and compassionate. Okay, thank you so much. So constantly keep this vision for everybody as much as you can. Pay attention to this vision, right? You're going to look at people now with a very new vision and see how it's going to really change your world. Jaisi drishti, vaisi shrishti. There's a guarantee. If you carry this vision for everybody and you look at them, don't look at them like you looked at them before. It's going to be a little difficult, but try. And if you're successful, you'll have a massive shift in the world that you have around you. Okay. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. It was a pleasure to be with all of you today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prita.